Thank you for tuning in to I've Got Favor, where it's your time to shine with your host, Prophetess T. Hey guys, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on God's green earth. I want to thank you for tuning in to I've Got Favor with me, your hostess, Prophetess T. Guys, let me tell you something. We have an amazing individual that's going to be sitting in today on I've Got Favor. And I'm telling you, we're going to get the good, juicy tea on this person. I'm just amazed by this young man. I have never known anybody that's got 1.2 billion different titles. And I know y'all know I'm exaggerating, right? But for real, I just aspire to be half of this individual because he is incredible. I met this young man, and he's blessed my spirit. His whole family has blessed my spirit. And I want you to do me a favor. Can y'all do this real quick? Before we get started, I need y'all to get your family members together, get your classmates together, get the people you work with together, hit that share button at the bottom and tune into this because this is really good information that we're going to be getting today. We're going to talk about an individual that God has truly blessed and the favor of God, the anointing, the power that is in this man. Shondo, can I tell y'all something? You just want to be in the room to hear him breathe some of this out on you, because if God can do it for him, what do you think he can do for you? So let me give you a little tea on this gentleman before we get started. I got old people's eyes, so hang on here. Listen. So we're talking about no other than Dr. Minister, dad, father, mother. Well, he can't be mother, but he'll be brother. He's all this, friend. He's an owner. He's an amazing individual, like I said. Antonio Juan Thomas. Did I say that right? Day One, Mr. One, Day One. All right, is a man who is passionate about producing results and getting the job done. And ladies and gentlemen, he does that. He's known for his directness and quick-witted sense of humor. That's a true statement right there. And he wears many hats, some of which include husband, dad, ordained minister, pastor, entrepreneur, educator, and actor. When speaking to audiences, he delivers powerful messages of hope. His relationship with God fuels his desire to pour into young people and serve as a leader in the human service field. Antonio has a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, a Master's of Business and Administration. Honey, he's got more than that. So I'm going to let him share all the other things that he carries because he didn't put them all down here. He has over 15 years of experience in working with youth in residential settings, fostering in his home, along with teaching in the public school system. In addition, his heart for youth. Antonio loves music and received a praise and worship leadership degree in Bible college. When he's not working, he's enjoying traveling and sightseeing with his wife, no other than the Sharon Rochelle. And also watching his favorite college sports team, University of Louisville. Now, why you got this up on here when I seen you at Ohio State? We're not going to say that out loud. We're not claiming Louisville. No, we're not. No, I'm just playing. That's his team. He can have it. Okay, so when asked about his journey to founding Fuego Corporation, Antonio says, becoming a foster parent was supposed to be a short-term commitment, but that sparked a lifelong passion to see children without homes placed with people who can provide the love and care needed. I'm so blessed to be able to impact the quality of a life a child will experience. Although I have partnered with some great people, I have often found myself noticing the gap of cultural and racial diversity within human service leadership. So Fuego, I hope I'm saying that right, Corporation was birthed to bridge the gap with our many arms of services. As the African proverb says, it takes a village to raise a child. And I believe, I lost my place, taking the child out of the village is where much of the problem stems. Amen, brother. Fuego is here to bring a solution to the problem so that all children in the human race can be placed in a village. At Fuego Corporation, we are committed to bringing an awareness to children who have been abused, neglected, or parentless for any reason. And that takes me right to a couple of scriptures I think we do not put enough attention on. And the first one that I'm thinking of is actually James, the first chapter, verse 27. This is something that we are supposed to do. God has ordained this to be so. It says, "Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them at all, and they cry out at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fathers." He was not playing about those that are less fortunate. When it comes to the widow and the fatherless child, God, his words do not find short. You see what he said: "I will wax on, wax off you." So this is something that we ourselves need to be more passionate about, and I believe that the doctor has taken it to that level, that everybody, every individual on this earth should take some interest in helping those less fortunate. And the last scripture that I just want to reemphasize the fact that God is serious about every individual on this earth, and that's Exodus 22. And I'm probably not going to get into the whole thing, but verses 22 through 24, where once again, um, Father God was not playing. He says, "Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child." Uh, so you've got to understand that this is very passionate to God, that those who don't have a mother or a father or someone that they can depend on, that we as the community, or as the doctor has said, as the village, that we take care of them, put our arms around them, see about them, because just like uh, God is our daddy, he's daddy to everyone, including the fatherless child. And I I am not going to hold back any longer. I want to bring this powerful man of God into the conversation, guys. So he's told you a little bit about what he has started, what seed God had placed in him, and how his purpose came to manifest. And this is just part of the, what he does. God has still yet pouring into him things that he has not birthed out yet. So we're just going to get nosy and get into that good tea tonight, right? So let's invite Dr. Antonio Thomas into the conversation right here. Hello, doctor.
Hello, hello,
Okay, I know I
hello.
went overboard. I know I did, but I gotta be a little extra.
That was an introduction. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So we started talking about how, just to get the conversation going, how you as an individual got introduced into foster care,
Hmm.
caring for individuals,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
then so tell us about it.
All right, yeah. So I was a teacher in Jefferson County Public School, and my wife was a social worker over in Indiana, a worker with children. And so I just decided we saw a need, and so we did open our home for a few, but then we was like, no, we think we could do this much bigger than just our home being open. So that's when we started searching out and looking for places to go. I am that person, if people don't know me, I'm just that one that will just jump. I believe jumping into the river and just letting it take you wherever God wants you to go. So I just kind of jumped in that flow and just flowed with it. And that's how Fuego Corporation was birthed. And out of that came Kalima Care Family Services, which is an adoption and a foster care and adoption agency that we started in 2016.
Man, you talking about taking a chance on doing something? That's like, it takes, to me, anybody who has a passion for children and children that aren't even their own, has to have a humongous big heart to open it up. Just from the little bit of experience that I've had with some of uh, what Danny has done in previous years. So you said that it birthed this organization out, which is, I don't want to kill the name of it because you
Fuego Corporation.
look, I had Danny in my ear like, don't you dare embarrass me. So you got into creating a business, a foster care agency. So
Hmm.
how was that getting started? Because I mean, uh, you said that just by deciding that it wasn't just enough for you to have it in your home, but you wanted to take it to another level. How does one get started in that? I mean, you sound like Peter. Peter was just like, okay, walk, okay, walk. So did you do like Peter and look down and go, oh shoot, what the crap did I get into? What happened?
Yes, so that's exactly how it happened. One day we were sitting and I was like, Sharon, I think we should look into starting the agency, and it kind of probably maybe overwhelmed Sharon just a little bit. And I saw that. The first thing I did was I went, I looked for an application. I filled out an application. Of course, the state sent it back, said it was wrong. It wasn't enough information, but you got to start somewhere. So I started there, and from there, they gave me the right information. And so from probably 2013 till 2016 when it started. So I started to that's when I went into. The funny thing is, starting an agency, you have to, we had it for like almost a year and a half before we even got a contract, and we had these dummy files that we had to keep, and so we had to run it like we were open.
Wow.
And so we had to be there like we were open. So I started subbing at that time, and not do full time at Just CPS. And so I subbed, and then I went over there and sit with some dummy files and kind of sit in there, and we would get audited. It was a whole experience, that I believe the Lord kind of, I think they wanted to see who they could weed out. I don't know, but it's a whole process. But it took about 3 years for it all to come to whole, and we had a contract, and then a like, and then we got licensed, and then we got a contract with the state. Yeah.
So just to get people informed about foster care, what is there a certain criteria that you require of who can foster? What is that? What does it take if you're interested in doing something like that?
So you have to at least be 21. You can be 18. A lot of people don't know. You can be 18 if it is a family member that you are looking to foster, but 21 is the age that it starts to foster non-family members. And so you fill out a background check. We check your background, and it's very open if you have some background, as long as it's not, anything toward children or violence. And so then after that, you start the process of you have classes that you take. It's about 32 hours of classes that you would take. And our classes are fun. We try to make them inviting. We try to make them open. We are faith-based, so it's very much inspiration, encouraging to the people that join those classes. And then after that, you do a home study where we do a home study with you. And I always say home studies can be a little intrusive, but it's designed for us to know you and to know what type of child you could take in your home. And then once you've done all of that process, you pretty much open, and then we start sending you referrals, and that's how your home gets open. Yeah.
So even in the fostering system, I noticed I was looking at the statistics of that was listed, and it's like a lot of minorities. I even noticed that with adoption, like it's a lot of minority children that are
Hmm.
up for adoption that don't get placed.
Hmm.
So do you have the same situation going on even in the fostering system? Is it more difficult to I know it can be more difficult for like older kids. How do you handle that? What do you do?
Yes. So our main push has been to definitely get foster parents that will take teenagers, because that's across the whole country, where the teenagers are actually need to be placed, and definitely African Americans are misplaced, are hard to place sometimes. And that's why that was one of our main focuses, was definitely for the Black and brown children of America, to give them a place to that somebody could look like them and actually be able to be taken care of. And and I looked at these statistics, and I had posted on Facebook about it, where it was like 22% of youth are Black in care, but we only represent 13.6% of the whole population. So it's like more of our kids are being put in care, right, basically, than the whole population of America. And so that's one of our focus. That's why we're looking at opening up in other cities as well, because we see that it is a need definitely for minorities to definitely have that place and not be displaced out. And then we find it that the white peers in white clients in foster care really get a home much quicker, are adopted much easier than African American children. So we want to help solve that problem and kind of find it's just a stigma, I think, in our community sometimes when it comes to foster care, but we are not trying. We are doing the job of Sharon will get on me because I say trying, and she like, no, you ain't trying. We're doing the work to make sure that these children find great homes. Yeah.
So, even in saying that, and is there a limit to how many children you can have in your home, or do you even? I know you were saying you want to place brown and Black children in foster homes where the race is the same, but it's not something that's mandatory, correct?
Correct.
Right. So,
Correct. But
go ahead.
to answer your question, you can have up to five kids in your home at one time, and that's including your children. Anything after that would need an exception, which means we have to get approval from the state. But you can have up to 5 kids in your home. Mhm.
And so once they get placed in the home, do you guys just leave it to the parents to handle whatever? Or is there a support system? Um, because I can imagine how stressful this must be when a child is taken from their home, their blood home, and placed in an unfamiliar house.
No, absolutely. No, we provide support. We are known for support. We support. I am definitely a person that they have my number as well. They can call, but we do have a 24-hour crisis hotline. And then we have case managers and we have therapists as well that will come into the home. So anything that the parents would need, we think of our agency as a co-parenting to a foster parent and to a biological parent. So we all work together to try to, and if the biological parent is not in the picture, then it's just us co-parenting with the foster family to help ease that pain, because it really takes a lot to raise children or to bring them up, especially in this climate or this season that we're in. And so we kind of make sure that we are definitely a support for them, and we're always just a phone call away. And if we do need to show up at the home, if it is a crisis, then we would do that as well.
All right. So I mean, you also have something that's called respite. So if you don't, if it maybe, is that something that they should look into if they're just wanting to see if they're ready to foster? Would that be an option? And if you could explain to them what it is exactly.
Yes. So respite parents are definitely needed. We call them part-time professional parents, which means that they would take kids out on their basis of when they could. So if they could do weekends, or if they can do some days in the week, or if they could do a couple of days out of the month, whatever that their schedule is, they can do that. And that does introduce you into foster care. And I always encourage people who have a heart and feel like it's something they want to do, but they just don't know how to do it. I always say that you should do respite first. You should become a respite parent. And if it so happened that you you may fall in love with a kid that is on respite, or you may, just decide to want to do it. And that's a good way to get your foot into the door and kind of fill it out and understand what it is. And definitely being a support to that foster parent who is full-time, and being a support to that child too as well.
And I know that I do believe some of the children. I know that you guys the children's services is all about trying to reunite families as well. Um, but there are some opportunities sometimes, unfortunately, where there's a possibility that the children can't be returned. So somebody can consider adoption as well. Is there criteria for that?
hmm So the same thing with us, we are a foster care and adoption agency, but with us, it's the same thing. You still have to go through the same classes, and you just you can sign up to be an adoptive parent, and we would at that point you would be sent kids who are already maybe adoptable. Unfortunately, that their parents weren't able to do, or the parents could have died, or whatever the situation was. The family and the parents are no longer in the situation, and that family needs a permanent home, and so you can do that as well. And a lot of people do come in for that purpose of being an adoptive parent. The good thing about being an adoptive parent with our agency is we pay for all the fees, because adoption can be very expensive. And so fostering to adopt, it's no out of pocket for that family.
Wow, I did not know that.
hmm
And to me, I was telling Danny that I was like, there's so many children that need a home, but it's so expensive just to
hmm
do that. And I was being petty because I was like, why are we paying the state to do that when it's the parents is giving? You should be able to, go to a parent and do. But anyways, that's another. So you guys are just located in the Louisville area, or how far is your reach?
So we go as far as I say an hour and a half out. I don't know what that mile range is. We go in the vicinity of that. That's our area. So we go as far as, maybe if we're going south, as far as Litchfield, and if we're going toward Lexington, as far as Lexington, and maybe up toward Covington and in between. But yeah, we look for families that way, but our main focus is like Louisville, E-Town, Radcliffe, and all this area in our vicinity.
All right, guys. So if any of this, because I told you he's got 50 million hats, like we got to go on to another thing he does, but I don't want you not to reach out and find out some more about this. If you're interested, or if it's piqued your interest, maybe you know somebody who does have a desire that wants to have kids, or maybe possibly they cannot have kids or whatever. This might be a possibility to them getting into adoption even.
Mhm.
How can they reach out to you guys and get more information or apply to become a foster parent, or what have
Good question. They can go to kulimacare.org, and that's KULIMA care.org, or they can call the office, and that number is 502-792-0029. And they can reach out to us that way as well. But the easiest way is to really go to kulimacare.org and kind of fill out that information, and someone will contact you. Mhm.
All right. So we'll get that and make sure that's posted here on the screen here in a minute, for you guys, so that if you're interested, make sure you write this down. Or if you missed it or whatever, come back and rewatch this program and we'll see it. And I'll make sure we put it in the comments as well.
Yeah.
So, doctor, because I'm saying, doctor, what's the doctor about? Do you do surgery? What you doing, doc? What's up, doc?
So yes, so if I go back, let me go back a little bit. So when I was 13 years old, the Lord began to speak to me about my wife, about my family, about where I would live, and all of these things. And I said, by the age of 45, I said, Lord, if I'm still on the earth, that I want to have my doctoral degree by that age. And so I sought out, we do run the foster care agency. I did at that time. I had a master's degree in I had an MBA, a master's of business. And so I had the business degree. We started businesses. I'm like, Sharon, I feel like I need to go back. So I went back and I did this dual thing, which is, everybody always asks, how did you do that? Like, I was running full business with staff and all of that. And I went back to school and did a double degree. I did another master's in social work, and then I got my doctorate in clinical counseling. And I did all of that together within the span of, I think it was like 7 years. And so it took me about that time, and then raising a family too. And but my goal was to finish by 45. And you know what? I graduated on my birthday when I turned 45, May 20th.
Man.
That was all the Lord. Like, I didn't set out to say, okay, y'all, I'm gonna graduate on my birthday, but yeah. So I went to and I graduated on my birthday, and that was an awesome thing. So I always tell people, like, if you ask God and you really stand on it and you don't sway from it, I mean, regardless of whatever's going on around you, because there was a lot of crazy stuff. I stopped for a while. I think I stopped for almost a year. I did in between I'm doing it, but I was like, nope, I gotta press in, I gotta go back, I gotta finish. Because at that time our, the business was definitely, during that COVID time and
Mm.
people not working. Like, it was me, Sharon, and somebody else, and we were running this agency with like 60 kids at that time, and I was taking classes, so I had to slow up a little bit during that time. But I just kept persevering. I was like, I got to finish it. And so, definitely the help of the Lord, and definitely me being focused and being able to manage my time and my space, I definitely was able to finish it. So yes, that's how I became Dr. Thomas. Yeah.
And man, don't look like you aged a bit. I would have aged like 20 years. You know, like how when the president goes in and be youthful, and then by the time he come out, he look like he's ready, one foot in the grave. Man, that's I can't imagine that. And not only all that, but your wife is very busy too. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all have a lot. For those of you who do not know, his wife is a gospel Christian artist. I should say, very well renowned. I know somebody famous, y'all. And and yourself. And I mean, you were managing her and
Mm-hmm.
kids and other people's kids and other adult kids. And how do you keep your sanity? I mean, how do you do self-care and all that as well? Because we're all about, like I said, um, in doing this, because even when the favor of God is on you, there can be a time where you, like you said, you might have to say, stop, I need to take a break for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
what did you do? I mean, to balance this. I love you too, Miss Stella Award winner, Bell Award winner, Grammy Award winner.
Yes, I see Sharon in the background. But I never really, even when I like this is actually my first interview since receiving my doctoral degree. This is my first interview. But when I have interviews and we talking about like all that we have done and all that we do, I tell you, it's the grace of God. Like, I'm like, no, I know you hear people like talk about this stuff, but I'm like, until you lived it, until you experience it, it really is the grace of God. And when you talk about self-care, those self-care days, like right now, I'm working on just that health factor and the weight factor, and I'm asking God, and that self-care is me getting up early before the family gets up, and really seeking the Lord and praying and exercising, and it's just me kind of just getting with God and letting him just kind of mold me, and just being truthful and honest to myself. Even when I'm upset, one of my goals is always to be truthful to myself, or even if me and my wife are having a spat, just to be truthful and tell her, what am I feeling, what's going on inside of me, and just to really be able to do those things. I think that is a self-care piece, when you can truly be honest with yourself on day to day, and what is going on and what you are experiencing in your body, and be able to tell it to the ones that are around you. And I even tell my children, look, today is an off day for me, so y'all gonna have to chill out.
For a
So
man to say that is incredible, because y'all
that
don't like to
is
talk. Y'all don't like to share.
that
Y'all like to, you know, hold it all on your shoulders. So that's absolutely wonderful that you're able to do that.
that is very true, and it took work to do that. And I think because of the therapy side in me, because I do therapy too, so it helps me to be able to relate and understand the natural body sense of how the brain works and all of those things. That's what I went to school for. But just the spiritual sense of it, to understand that when we release it, give it sound. I say always give it sound. If you can give it sound, it can't defeat you, because silence is the language of defeat. So you
I
always want to
love that.
give it sound, give it sound, and let it come out. Yeah.
I'm going to watch this and I'm going to borrow that. Because that, I love that. So, in saying that, I want to say two things, because I think that's going to lead into you writing a book, because you have to. You have to, especially with African American males. I think we have a problem with communication, and being able to express yourself and how you feel, and feel that it's okay to do that.
Mhm.
Um, and this is the funny thing, I think, because I always mess with Danny. I said Danny married me because he needed a challenge in his life, and y'all like to use y'all's BS degrees. That's what I tell him. Use that BS degree on me because he has behaviors, And so he's the only one that can do it. Well, it's probably you too now, but I'm gonna call you on it if I hear you doing that too. Um, but I'm glad to hear that you're doing that, because you yourself have got to show others, males, African American males, how to do that. Which before we got started, you were talking about uh, writing a book
Mhm.
on rejection.
Mhm.
So that's another thing, that's expression. So I know you're probably not going to go into all that, and I probably told all the tea I wasn't supposed to. But anyway, come on and tell us about the things that God has yet got boiling in your belly that you're going to do, because I mean, God, I'm just like on the tip of the iceberg, y'all. We got a school to talk about too. So, but come on, doctor, come on.
So yes, I'm in the process of writing my first book. It's Rejection, Denied. Don't let rejection steal your DNA. And it's basically a book of just I'm speaking into the lives of people, because I sit people I counsel so many people who have walked in rejection, and a lot of times it shows up in different forms. But the whole bottom line is that rejection piece. If you take a family and you take a child and you remove them, they rejected from their mama, they rejected from their daddy, and it starts all of these things that we label it as anxiety, ADHD, depression, but a lot of times it is rooted in rejection. And so I really go after that. I'm really going after that in this book, to really let Holy Spirit guide me to understand. And even in my own life, I always tell the story that my mama did the best thing she could. She married a great man. He was there in my life. He's my stepdad. But my biological dad wasn't in my life, and I never really realized how important he was to me until I got married. I thought I was
Mm.
good, but when I got married, I found out that I needed that daddy piece that I missed, that before my mom got married and brought, my stepdad in my life. I was 13 at that time. And so I know those important pieces of my childhood. And I know a lot of times of that rejection piece that showed up, and I didn't understand what it was that was going on inside of me. I just thought that it was just me, being me. But then when I realized that it was actually rooted in rejection, and that it was showing up in ways in my life and was causing me to not be the authentic and be who God had called me to be,
Mm.
especially in marriage. I always thought, you love your mama, you're gonna be the best husband ever. That's what I've always thought. And I love my mama, but I didn't know. And I have a great wife, and we had ordeals. We had things that we had to do, that I had to do to show up for her. And I tell her all the time, I said, the only reason why people get divorced is because they become selfish. And
Mm.
so I feel like I was very selfish, and I needed to find out what that selfish was. And my selfish was rooted in the rejection that I didn't have from my dad. So I talk about that in the book. I'm not going to give it all out, but I talk about that in the book, and definitely being African American male, and that dad piece and all of that. So I talk about that in the book, and just how I was able to overcome that, and kind of because that rejection and that fear runs together. So you have to know what it is and what it looks like. And I speak about, not letting it steal who you are and who God's called you to be.
My goodness, when you get ready to get into that, I'm going to bring you back because uh, it's a whole nother topic that you and I need to talk about because I had to go through 7 years of deliverance on rejection. So we can
Hmm.
talk about some stuff. But
Okay.
but as we wrapping up, because time went by too fast.
It-
You are getting ready to do something. Uh, is you crazy? Is what I want to know. A high school, a high
yes.
school.
Yes. We're doing that high and middle. We're doing 6th through 12th grade. So one thing, look, that 13-year-old self, let me go back to him again. That 13-year-old self dreamed about these letters, MHG. And in the dream, I saw a football team with those letters on the jacket. And I knew then that it was a school. I didn't know how it would be produced. I knew we started MGM. I knew we started um Kalima Care, but I didn't know how that would be birthed. But I told Sharon, I said, I really feel like these letters, the MHG, really is standing out to me, and the Lord wants us to do something with it. And so, as we begin to process it, I found a team of people to come together with me. I always say, you find you a team, find somebody that knows more than you if you can't do it. So I got a team of people who's been doing this for forever. They're out of Canada, and we hired them to help us and how and what has birthed out of that is MHG, a preparatory academy. And we are having our first event actually tomorrow from 9 to 12 to we're having a skills training event with some of the Louisville basketball players who's coming in town.
What?
Who's coming in town for, they had lost their championship because of all that stuff that went on, but they're getting that back and they're putting the banner back up tomorrow. And so a couple of the guys that knows one of the people on our board was like, well, let's do a fundraiser. And I was like, well, MHG needs a fundraiser. And so they're doing this skills training. They got like 150 kids signed up, and it's not too late for other people to come if they want to, because they can bring their kids at the door, but it is a fundraiser for that. And so it's kind of releasing out MHG to the world. So yep, it's K, it's 6 through 12, but every year we'll go down a year until we get to K, and it'll be a K through 12 school eventually.
Wow. So, Miss Sharon, if you can put that information up, because you've been posting everything, that would be awesome. Because I want to make sure that if anybody wants to participate in that fundraiser, do you have Cash App or anything, website that they can also make donations towards the high school?
Yes, so
Um,
we're funding because everything is funneling through Kalima right now. So
uh-huh.
everything that they do, they just have to put that they're that is for MHG, and it will go toward that and not toward the foster agency. Yeah.
Okay. Man, you have shared. There we go. She's got it in the comments. And like I said, I'm going to make sure that we pin those things there. So, anybody, if you need the information tomorrow, you said from what time?
From 9 to 1 at Mid America Mid America East off of Old Henry Road in Louisville. Yep, from 9 to 1 they're having, and names like, if you're a Louisville fan, Van Treese, Russ Smith, this some of the top names, and then dang, I can't even think of the other man's name. He would be so mad. He played for Chicago Bulls, actually. He will be there as well. I'm gonna look his name up because I want Danny to know, and I don't even know if I told Danny this, but he will definitely be there as well.
No, you
And
did
he
not, sir. No, you did not tell me.
and
Now he comes out the back.
and he played for Chicago. I'll find it. Just give me a second. And so yeah, but he played for Chicago. He was actually on the team with Michael Jordan now. Yeah.
So that is truly incredible, and you are certainly a trailblazer. I mean, you just totally on fire. Poor Miss Sharon ain't gonna get a break because I think he'll be laying on his bed at 90 years old. I'm Miss Sharon. I think God gave me another dream. Or baby, bless her heart. You guys got so much going. I mean, even you and your wife and I imagine your children are going to do great things as well. And I'm so excited about what God's doing with you. And guys, this is the favor of God upon you. Like he said, if you just believe in your hearts of heart God will manifest this. And let me tell you why it manifests. Because he says, seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added to you. So because he keeps kingdom things first, they manifest. Kingdom things, like I told you in the scriptures that we shared, James 1:27 and Exodus 22, it talked about the widow and the fatherless. So that is kingdom. So he's taking care of those children. Even I could go so far as to say there's women who maybe are widowed or whatever, that are even being helped through this industry. Talking about single parents, being educated, and uh, those that are elderly that maybe lost a loved one or whatever. Here's an opportunity for you to be a help to your village as well, and with the fostering or even the respite. I mean, because I think that that's good to keep your mind healthy and active, is to stay busy. And honey, baby, if anything can keep you busy, it's sharing. Sharing, that's a whole, my heart to all of you. God bless you in your ministry. May the Lord shine his face upon thee. May the Lord keep thee. Cause woo, baby. But yeah, and then a whole high school. Man, and then not just probably one book, but you're gonna have books. And then you said businesses. Can I tell you, he's a Chef Boyardee too, y'all. He be he be posting fat people dreams on his page, and my stomach be doing it. Be ba bum bum ba bum ba ba. It be doing some stuff. I'd be wanting to have you come personally fix a meal. You do that too. Is that your next adventure? Are you gonna
Actually, at the school, I didn't talk about that for a little bit. I can, but at the school, culinary is going to be one of the huge things that we do, and out of that, we're going to birth something out of that. But the kids will be able to cook and be able to know how to prepare meals and how to prepare for events and stuff like that. They will definitely be able to do that. The other huge thing is that tech piece. We're going to have coding, because I believe that our kids should learn how to code. One thing that I know with coding is that they need to learn how to speak the language. So we will have Mandarin taught in the school, because I believe if our kids could learn how to speak to China, can you imagine an African American knowing how to speak the language and go do business deals in China? So that's my
Yeah.
goal, to teach them Mandarin, and we'll have like this Bloomberg conferences where the kids will be able to communicate and trade, do in the trade world, and be able to speak Mandarin with their teacher, and trade and do a little bit, and then they may make a little money. I don't know, something gonna come out of it. And they will learn how to do that. But yes, culinary is definitely one of those things
Okay, I
that
know
we will do.
he's
Yeah.
getting on me about time. So one more thing too.
Okay.
And you're looking for, like, you want cross seas, you want exchange students and things like that as well too. So if anybody, because this is all across the world, if you are interested in becoming an exchange student or getting here too, how do they get a hold of you to even put in something about that?
Yes, they go to mhgprep.com, and then just fill out the information form, and let us know. But yes, Sharon and I are taking a 40-day around the world, and we're looking for exchange students, and we will be going around the world for 40 days in June. We'll be gone. We'll hit one country, then go to the next. And we're going as kingdom ambassadors, looking
Amen.
for a kingdom. Yeah.
And I'm going to be their kingdom luggage carrier. I'm going. I'm going in the luggage, Sharon. Did you hear that? All right, gosh, I got to bring you back. So I'm gonna have you back again. When you're gonna leave for your trip? When do you know?
June 2nd. Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring you back probably at the end of May then, because I want you to talk about the 40-day trip again, so we can reiterate that and anything else that you have. Is that all right? Is that all right with you?
Yes,
And maybe
that
Miss
was.
Sharon can join us too.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. So, guys, we're going to keep all the information in. I'm sorry that I didn't get any, if I missed any questions, or if anybody had questions you want to ask, you can still post, because I will share with him. And he sees my page too. He can come back and answer as well. So I hope that this inspired you to do something great. Don't leave. I'm going to talk to you in a minute. Remember, hang around.
All
Hey
right.
guys, this was some good tea. I'm telling you, God is amazing. He's just a baby as far as I'm concerned. Just 40-something years old with 70 degrees, y'all. 20,000. He's got cattle in this field, cattle in that field. He's opened the Red Sea and all this stuff. If he can do it, what makes you think that you can't do what God has inspired and birthed in you? All you've got to do, he said, is the grace and mercy of God. If it's kingdom, it will manifest now. You don't have to wait. It will manifest now. So I want to thank you guys for all tuning in to I've Got Favor, where it is your time to shine with me, your hostess, Prophet T. We'll see you soon. Be blessed. We thank you for tuning in to I've Got Favor, where it's your time to shine with Prophetess T.